everybody, it's your boy Kenneth the K-Rock Klein here with another episode of Krocking, Locking, and Dropping with the K-Rock. It's episode 41, and I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys had yourselves a nice, happy Halloween. Going out there in your costumes, getting the candy, and, saying your trick-or-treats and all of that. I actually was unable to catch up on some trick-or-treaters because I was kind of busy with work and everything, and also because of the weather. It's been kind of rainy and a little bit drizzly here, so I was unable to give myself, an opportunity to maybe run into some trick-or-treaters and everything. But yeah, other than that, nothing really much going on as we are about to start November here. So here's the situation. There's really only one sports topic I want to talk about, and I want to get into that in just a moment. But first and foremost, a couple of things. Again, it's still that crossover season. We're just kind of getting into the heart of it, where we are combining the fall sports and the winter sports at Lamar University right now. So I'm kind of going to be continuing to work with that. So I probably won't be getting as many podcasts out as I wish I could, but again, it's kind of that heart of the season, and it's definitely going to be a lot busy at this time. So bear with me, folks. Hope you guys can continue to stick around, listen to my podcast, and express my thoughts. Second of all, I don't like to do this, but I have to. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the World Series. Now, obviously, I still have a little bit of hate towards them because of the fact that, look, it's one thing to say, hey, you got screwed out, but to make the life miserable of someone that screwed you over, you don't have to do that, okay? And look, I can get into all the topics and everything, but in my personal opinion, you still would have lost in 2017. But we move past that for the time being, and I hope y'all do as well, and accept the fact that you still would have lost regardless. But you guys did win the World Series. Very much a dominant performance. Freddie Freeman, World Series MVP. Hey, the guy was unbelievable in that series, and really a convincing win for the Dodgers, while the Yankees, they sort of wet the bed in the World Series. So definitely a big congratulations to the Dodgers as they clinched another World Series title in 2024. So that ends the Major League Baseball season. Looking forward to see what happens in the offseason, particularly with the Astros. I know that there's going to be a lot of talk about whether or not they can resign Alex Bregman because he's a free agent in this offseason, and it's going to be really hard to say. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but hopefully the Astros can resign him. If not, hopefully they get some good guys that can help get them back into contention. As long as they're in contention to win another championship, that's all I care about. Not division, by the way, another World Series title, because I feel like we're going to get 3 and 4 just for good measure. But, yeah, I mean, at some point we might have to be doing a little bit of rebuilding here. Okay, so, as I said, there was really only one sports topic to talk about, and, well, let's just say I'm kind of in a bit of a foul mood at this moment. I'm trying to be a little bit professional here, expressing my thoughts, but look, here's the thing. As a Houston sports fan, I always have the confidence and the belief that, look, in spite of how things might go, in spite of whether or not your team's good or whether your team's bad, you still got to stick and fight for them, because eventually they're going to break through and they're going to bring success to Houston. And that, I still have that belief to this day. However, there does come a point where you have to say that enough is enough. And, I'm just going to lay it on the line. I have no idea what is going on with the Texans right now. I mean, look, I picked them to lose against the Jets just because I felt like it was a trap game because obviously playing in New York, it's a tough place to play. And certainly the Texans were banged up with injuries, and unfortunately they got more injuries that they need to get resolved. Hopefully those injuries can heal up as quickly as possible for the next game, which is going to be a very tough game because the Texans are going to be taking on the Detroit Lions. But I don't know what else to do. I mean, right now I'm at a point where I am just sick and tired of feeling like I'm the only fan in this entire universe that feels confident that our time is coming to come when we're going to win and be in the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. And yet, we had a performance like tonight where our offensive line cannot protect our quarterback. And, I mean, I'm getting into a little bit of a rant here, folks, because I'm just mad. I'm frustrated. I'm very upset with this performance. I'm disappointed. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I feel like I'm becoming this fraud prophet, if you will, expressing all these viewpoints of positivity, and yet it's hard to do that when your team just played like crap tonight. I mean, you know, you had a lead going into the fourth quarter, and then you just couldn't get the job done. I'm pissed off. I'm upset by that. Something needs to be done. Something needs to change. I mean, like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand it. Bobby Slowick, offensive coordinator, you know, you were brought in to help elevate C.J. Stroud, and right now, you're not doing your job because you're calling all these conservative plays, and it's not working because the offensive line is not doing their job to protect the quarterback, and I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's just so frustrating. Like, when you had this team that everyone thought was going to be at least an AFC title contender, and yet all of a sudden they have kind of fallen down into hard times. They're 6-3 at this point, which, look, after this week, they'll still be at first place in the division, but how long? I mean, what needs to happen? What needs to change? You know, because our fans are getting frustrated and are getting fed up. And, I mean, look, I get it. We're banged up. We got a lot of injuries. We got a lot of players that are hurting at the moment. And it's going to come back to, you know, hurt us if they don't get healthy real fast. Now, next week or next Monday night, we got Nico Collins coming back, which should help, hopefully. But, man, I don't understand it. I just don't understand what is wrong. Like, the offense is just sputtering. It's just not as efficient as it should have been. And it just makes you wonder if this team is a one-year fluke, and I don't like that. And I'm losing patience with this. I really am. Because this was supposed to be a team that's supposed to step up, and yet right now, they've dropped 2 of their last 3, winnable games, I might add, and I mean, right now, they're just kind of falling down, and all of a sudden, you're going to have people questioning, hey, what's going on? You know, what's wrong with C.J. Stroud? What's wrong with the defense? What's wrong with the offensive line? Like, what's the matter? I thought this was supposed to be a contender. And gosh darn it, I get sick and tired of having to listen to all that media crap. Because, man, I mean, they got their opinions, but sometimes I don't even think they buy into their own opinions. They're only doing it just to sell for ratings purposes and everything. And I know you're probably going to be saying, hey, man, that's what you're doing as well. Well, yeah, I have an opinion, but at least I have a belief in my team, which right now is being tested because of the lack of effort. I mean, I just don't understand it. At some point, this has got to stop. Some point, this team really needs to get their head out of there, you know what, and just get going. Now, again, injuries, I get it. That's a factor. But come on. Like, we all had this expectation that we were going to at least make a run to the AFC Championship game, let alone the Super Bowl, which I will say I didn't think they were going to get there. But, man, like, this is supposed to be an opportunity for the Texans to develop. You got 3 more years with C.J. Stroud on his rookie contract, and right now, you know, you're wasting his second year. People are saying, well, it's a sophomore jinx, it's a sophomore this and that. I mean, you're just wasting it. Because you're winning all these close games, but yet you play some underperforming games. It's like the same Texans of old. You know, you're supposed to play a game against a team you're supposed to beat, and what happens? You pretty much lay an egg. It's just so frustrating to me that I have to sit here in the car, in a parking lot, pretty much in the middle of nowhere where I'm at right now, sitting here expressing my frustration and anger towards the team after a crappy performance like that, when I could easily be talking about something else, something positive. Problem is, there's nothing positive going on. Well, I mean, the Rockets won a game against Dallas, which is nice and all. I mean, anytime that happens, that's good. But seriously, we had a tough October, all right? I mean, yeah, we got eliminated early in the playoffs, which probably needed to happen in baseball from the Astros' perspective, okay? Which I will admit was probably something that needed to happen. But, man, you know what sucks about being a fan of a Houston sports team? I'm just going to be honest. Having to encounter all these so-called negative naysayers trying to disrespect championships, fair or unfair, even if we win. And it makes you wonder, well, when we do win our next title, is that going to be the same thing? Are they going to find ways to disrespect us? Because apparently we're not in a media market, a capital of the world. We don't have one of the top media markets, I mean, I'm just getting frustrated and I'm just getting upset because I feel like this Texans team should be better than what they are. And I know it's October. Well, it's about to be November. And I know it's still the middle of the season, and teams are going to have their struggles. Teams are going to not play their best. But at some point, you have to get your act together. You have to start playing well. Nick Caserio, dude, you're the general manager. You've been cooking up a lot of great trades and deals. And I know Stephon Diggs is out for the year with an ACL, but you've been, you can do it again. Cook up another trade. Do something. Because right now, this franchise has to question, do they want to go for it all this year, or do they want to go for it all next year? You got to do something. If you want to win it all this year, make up another trade, figure out how to tell the offensive coach to say, hey, we got to get going. Change your style or take away the play calling duties from him. And I don't understand it. It just seems like this team is struggling. This team is just flat out struggling right now. 6-3, yeah, first place in the AFC South at the end of this week regardless. But, man, I mean, there's no way I would predict that this team would make it to the Super Bowl this year or will make it to the Super Bowl this year at the rate they're going. Now, if things change and their record is better, yeah, I think this team has a chance. But right now, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say they will. And it hurts me to even think about it because clearly, on my other podcast, I said, I made a guarantee that the Astros, the Rockets, and the Texans were all going to win a championship in this decade. So far, I've gotten one. I just need the other two to step up, and we're about to reach the midway point of the 2020s. And look, I'm willing to admit if I'm wrong. If it doesn't happen, then you know what? So be it. I'll take being wrong. I'm willing to accept that. But man, for crying out loud, just make me feel positive. Make me feel happy. Because man, being a Houston sports fan for the last, 4 years has been a roller coaster. You have to deal with all the crap, whether, just fans being stupid idiots as haters or just the fact that your team has been underperforming and really not playing at the level that they should be playing at. But, I mean, look, I'm getting frustrated by all of this because I feel like right now I'm just frustrated because I feel like I have tried so hard to stay positive. I've tried so hard to, feel like I'm the only fan in this entire universe, and I hope I'm wrong. I know there's some fan out there that's probably feeling the way I am, feeling like so positive, trying to stay calm and stay focused and say, hey, look, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. But you know what's really frustrating? There are 4 teams in the NFL that have not been to the Super Bowl. I'm talking Cleveland, I'm talking Detroit, I'm talking Jacksonville, and I'm talking Houston. Seems like right now Detroit is the most likely team that's going to make it to the big game this year, and I can't blame them because I would definitely pick them to represent the NFC. They're playing the best football right now, and oh yeah, 11 days, Monday Night Football, man, Texans are hosting the Detroit Lions. That is going to be a bit of a tough game. Oh man, I mean, it's frustrating to me to have to criticize to do this because I don't like to do that. I mean, I don't like criticizing, even if it's deserving, because I feel like our fan base. I don't want to say they're scared, but I know they're frustrated. Trust me, I'm frustrated too. They have been striving for a winner. They have been wanting a winner. You know, last year you gave us hope. Now it just feels like, who are you guys? Who are you? Do you want to win? Or do you want to just waste another year so that way we can go over and retry this all over again? Like, look, we are the furthest thing away from being the Dallas Cowboys fan base where they all say, hey, this is our year, every year, you know, this is our year, we're going to do it. And then, oh, no, there's trouble. Jerry Jones, what are you doing? Mike McCarthy, what are you doing? You know, Dak Prescott, overrated. Oh, my goodness gracious. Hey, at least we made the playoffs. Oh, no, we lose. We ain't getting to the NFC Championship game this year. I mean, we're the furthest thing away from that, but if this keeps up, you know, we might be heading in that direction. And that's the one direction that I don't want to go towards. But it's just so upset, and it's really making me frustrated. At some point, Texans, you have to get yourself out of the hut or the rut. And I know it's tough, but you have 11 days to decide what you want to do. Because trust me, that next game against Detroit is going to be a tough game. And trust me, I have a lot. I get so mad and I get so frustrated when we lose a game, because clearly losing a game means it's going to be a long week, and I have to try so hard not to think about that game and then try to get focused, because, man, I hate talking about the Texans when they lose. I mean, I hate talking about Houston teams when they lose, because I get so mad and I get so frustrated if someone were to come up and say, yeah, man, your team sucks and this and that. And it's like, bull crap. You know, you have no right to say that. But I can't. You know, I just can't say that, because what's the point? They're right in that moment. The last thing you want is to have them be right for the rest of the season or for the rest of the decade or whatever, you know? I mean, I just don't understand it, you know? I mean, I'm a Houstonian, okay? You know me. I'm a diehard Houstonian. I live and breathe Houston. I've said it a number of times. I'm sure some of y'all are getting sick and tired of hearing me say that. I live and breathe Houston, okay? And I would not trade it for any other city in the world. People may not understand it, and I hope one day people do, but that's just who I am. And it's so frustrating feeling like I have to put the scars of every loss, not literal scars, okay, but like every time my team loses a game, it feels like a gut punch in the stomach. It really does, and it makes me feel upset, because I feel like I have to take every loss personally in my life, because it just drives me mad, drives me to wish one day, man, I wish I was the owner of the team. I wish I could do something to help out the franchise, but that's just wishful thinking. I mean, I don't know. I'm at a point where I'm just so frustrated, and I just feel like I can't trust this team right now. I just can't. I'm not losing confidence, but right now, if you were to ask me right now, can they beat the Detroit Lions? I'm probably going to have to say no. Can they beat the Baltimore Ravens? I'm going to have to say no. Can they beat the Kansas City Chiefs? I want them to. I feel like that we're going to be the team that's going to. But right now, I can't say that. I can't. Because our offensive line has got so much problems. They're basically not doing a great job. They're making C.J. Stroud vulnerable. He has to do everything as much as he can, and he's getting sacked. He's getting abused out there. It's a good thing that he hasn't been injured to this point. Knock on wood, hope he doesn't get injured this season. But, you know, you can't do that. You can't let your franchise quarterback get abused, get attack and, arouse. And worst of all, this is what angers me about this team. You dominate. You play well in the first half. Okay? You play well in the first half. You put up maybe 10 points, 10, 17, 20 points, and you're probably thinking, hey, we're going to put up a 40-piece on this team. But you don't even score a touchdown or so in the second half. Like, you don't play well in the second half. That's not good enough. You can't do that. You're basically putting yourself out in a position where you're going to choke games every single time. And the last thing I want is to read a stupid newspaper article saying choke city again. We all know what happened last time when it was choke city. You know what? I take that back. We probably should put out a newspaper article that calls us choke city or calls them choke franchise. Hey, it worked with the Rockets. They won a championship. Why don't we maybe put a tombstone or something to, put them on a newspaper or say, hey, this Texan season's over. Hey, they tried that with the Astros in 2005, and guess what? The Astros went to the World Series that year. I mean, I'm losing my voice thinking about it. I'm losing my voice getting so angry and so frustrated because of my, emotions and just how I feel like the team needs to play better. And right now, I'm just at a loss for words. I just don't see it happening at the moment. I mean, I want them to change my opinion. I want them to prove me wrong. I say that every single time. Prove me wrong when I pick against you. So far, they haven't done that. I picked against them 3 times this season. All 3 times they lost. And I'm going to have a hard time trying to decide if I'm going to pick them in my next prediction for this upcoming week, at least. I'm going to have a hard time with that. Maybe I just keep picking them unless they lose. And, because hopefully they do well when I pick them. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Because I can't pick them, expect them to win. Whereas I can't pick them to lose and expect them to lose every single time. They have to do something. Because right now, this has to be rock bottom, okay? Yeah, you're 6-3, which is a good record, okay? But look, you cannot do this. You can't keep that up. You're not living up to expectations. Your offense is sputtering right now. And again, you're getting some of your key weapons back with Nico Collins coming, but you still have some other injuries to deal with. I don't know what else to say. I mean, right now the fan base is really upset. I'm trying to keep my emotions in check, but I feel like I got to get it off my chest because right now I'm just so frustrated because I feel like at some point this team will get to a Super Bowl and they will win it. But I just don't understand. I mean, there's just a lot of questions I have. I question the sports gods saying, well, why is it that, Kansas City is having the breaks? Why is it that New England's having the breaks? Why did the Cowboys or the Steelers or the 49ers and Packers and all those great teams, the Dolphins too, why did they get the breaks when they wanted to, at least? Why haven't we gotten our chances? Why haven't we been successful? When is it going to be our turn to be successful? Like, do I need to get a freaking sports almanac? Should I trust that sports almanac to tell me, hey, maybe I should watch Back to the Future too? Because there was a sports almanac in the 1950s, which talked about stuff that happened during the 1980s. And, I mean, hey, it got Biff an opportunity to be a millionaire. Not to spoil the movie. If you haven't seen Back to the Future 2, first off, you need to watch Back to the Future 1 and then go to Back to the Future 2. So, I mean, this is why I get so mad and I get so upset. All because I feel like this team, should be better. And it should be upsetting. It's upsetting to me that we're not playing the way that we want. But look, we're 6-3. Okay, and the schedule's going to get tougher from here. But if we find an opportunity to make a statement, if we find an opportunity to step up, we might have a legitimate chance to really make a run for at least the AFC conference title. I mean, look, I'm not saying it's likely to happen this year, and I hate saying that because I know I've waited for God, 33 years for a team to get to a Super Bowl from Houston, but it's just tough and it's frustrating. But I'm looking at all the teams historically in the Super Bowl that won 6 of their first 9 games. And I feel like and I can only find 12 cases where the 6-3 teams that, ended up winning the Super Bowl. The Packers have done it twice in 67 and 10. The Dallas Cowboys in 1971 did it. The Pittsburgh Steelers did it twice, 1974 and 2008. The Raiders did it in 1980 and 83. The 49ers in 1988. The Giants, of course, their 2 Super Bowls with Eli Manning. They did it in 2007 and 2011. They were 6-3 during those years. And then, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs in 2019. Now, people forget the first Super Bowl, the Chiefs were 6-3. And then Tom Brady, when he was with the Buccaneers in 2020, that was the last time the team that ended up starting the year 6-3 and ended up winning the Super Bowl. So, is it possible the Texans can do it? Yeah. But do they need things to change? Do they need things to fix? You better believe they do. Because right now, the NFL trade deadline is going to be next Tuesday. And if I don't see a massive trade that happens, and I'm not expecting much, but Nick Caserio, man, you've been cooking lately. Start cooking something up good. Because I know as fans, we're getting sick and tired of it. And I know for me personally, I don't want to come across as being this lunatic idiot that made a guarantee all because he was getting sick and tired of feeling like the aftermath of 2020 when we went through the darkest period in our Houston sports history. I don't want to go through that period again because it still makes me angry thinking about it. I mean, I did pick the Jets to beat the Texans, and they did. But I just wish the Texans could just find a way to protect their quarterback, find a way to get the offense going. I don't know what it's going to take, and I don't want to say anything that could get me in trouble, but at some point, you got to stop feeling like you got to stop talking the talking, and then you got to quit being mediocre. You have to elevate your game. You have to get yourself better. You're not at that level yet, okay? You want to get there? You got to fix the issues. Because fans are sick and tired of seeing C.J. Stroud running around like he doesn't know what to do. I mean, he's a quarterback. He knows how to play the game, but man, he's trying too hard, and yet you're not helping him. You got to fix that issue. And then defense, defense is only carrying the team, but they can only do so much because the offense isn't helping. Something needs to change. Something's got to happen. This has got to be rock bottom, or else I don't know what else to do. I mean, I'm not quitting on you guys, but this has got to be rock bottom. And I just hope and pray that you turn it around, you fix things, because trust me, Houston has got to be sick and tired of not seeing themselves in the big game. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to do. I mean, I'm just frustrated because I know that these next 11 days are going to be really hard for me, especially having to deal with the fact that one of your most hated teams in Major League Baseball won a World Series over another, and then having to deal with the fact that our sports teams, in Houston have some issues that they're trying to figure out. I mean, look, we got 5 years left to the end of the decade. We can win, we can build, and we can be a great team, but y'all got to start. Y'all got to start getting there, because right now, I worry that the fan base will have no trust, and they'll be the most cowardly fan base out there, and that's not fair. That's not fair. But you guys have to decide. Do you want to win? Do you want to get to the big game? Do you want to beat the great teams? You already beat Buffalo, who's a great team. Do you want to win? And I know it's going to be tough without Stephon Diggs. I know it's going to be tough, especially after this season when he's a free agent. But you guys have other players that need to step up. Do you want to win? Do you want to get to the big game? Because I know as fans, we want to get to the big game, but we need you guys to get us there. We need y'all, the leadership. We need the guys. We need the guys that brought the swagger back to Houston. Because prior to 2023, we didn't have that swagger. We were that terrible. We didn't have it. And then we had that swagger. We had the confidence. And now all of a sudden, it feels like that swagger is not there. Where is that swagger? Where's the confidence? You guys need to find it, or else we're going to have some problems. But, man, I don't know what to do. I know this sounds like it's a rant. I know it sounds like I'm losing focus, and maybe it doesn't make sense at times. But gosh darn it, this loss cannot happen again. This kind of performance cannot happen again. I know it's the NFL and anybody can beat anybody, but darn it, you didn't do enough to prove that you could win the game. You were in position to win, like at the start of the fourth quarter, but you didn't do enough down the stretch. So as far as I'm concerned, you need to fix that issue. You need to get yourselves better because, trust me, it's going to be a long winter, a long off season, and it's going to make people wonder when is it going to happen? When is it going to be that Houston's going to win a championship again? And I hope and pray it's not that long, because trust me, it was a long time from 95 to 2017, like 22 years. It was a long time. I don't want to wait 22 years. And I certainly don't want to wait 5 years after a championship that many people called into question. Because, man, there are a lot of franchises that have waited more than 50 years. And that sucks. I just feel bad for those fans. And then there are some teams that haven't even been to championship games. But, I don't know. I mean, it's up to you guys. I'm not going to quit on you. I'm not going to quit on the Texans. I still think that they can get there. Maybe not this year. Maybe sometime next year, hopefully, or in the future. And I want to be around to see it. But at some point, my feeling of being a prophet, of being a real diehard Houston fan, has to reach a point where something needs to happen. Something needs to change. And I really want to see that change happen. So it's your choice, Texans. Do you want to win? Do you want to get to the Super Bowl? Or at least get to the AFC Championship game? Or do you want to just say, you know what? Forget this year. We'll try to come back next year. It's up to you. It's up to you. So that's basically my croc attack. You know, I know I didn't have much of an introduction there, or not much things planned, but I had to get it off my chest, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of sports media that's going to be talking about it, and it's not going to be pretty. I'm going to do all I can to ignore those people, because I don't want to get angry like I am right now. But, you know, what else can I do? What else can I do? Something needs to happen. Something needs to change. You just got to wake up. Wake up! That's all I got to say. But anyways, folks, not really a talking point of a rant, but you know what? Not really much of a podcast episode, but you know what? We're going to get ourselves back on track with the next episode when I talk about other sports topics. And I'm going to think hard about this, whether or not I want to do the prediction for the Texans-Lions game, because trust me, I am not, I'm not thinking it positively right now at the moment. So the way I see it, it's going to be big, huge. Either they do something about it, or we run the risk of having a long off season. So we'll see what happens. And I'm still confident that they're going to get to the big game eventually, but man, it's just not looking like it's going to be this year. And I hope to God that I'm wrong. But anyways, I'm sorry about the rant. I just had to get my thoughts on everything else. But you know what, folks? Next time we're going to get back to normal, and we're going to be talking more sports topics in a little bit more of a professional setting, if you will. And hey, Again, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at KWCLINE91 and also to my to Podbean and Spotify for my podcast, Krocking, Locking, and Dropping with the K-Rock. And I got to tell you what, folks, it's going to be real interesting to see what happens over these next few days. So in the meantime, though, I hope you had yourselves a great holiday. And November's around the corner, which means it's time for Thanksgiving celebrations to begin. And guys, one final piece of advice: wait until after Thanksgiving to start Christmas, because that's the one pet peeve I got. I'm already seeing a Christmas sweater out before Halloween, and I know there's going to be more of that, but I feel like you need to wait until after Thanksgiving. Turkey first, Santa cookies later, okay? Anyways, hope you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you next time. Hopefully I'm in a better mood by then. And yeah, go to all to my Houston sports teams and get your acts together, boys.